Okay, during the first part, we saw the perspective on the realities and resources of teaching the arts in our schools and communities considering today's setup. Ngayon naman ay alamin natin ang kahalagahan ng sining at kultura sa bansa. Marami nang pumapasok kasi 'di ba na foreign pop culture, foreign literature and other formats that are widely available. Pero kilala pa ba natin kung ano ang kulturang Pilipino? Is it still important and relevant for our students to learn about our own culture kahit na busy sila sa, TikTok and YouTube? To bring us deeper into the discussion, umpisahan natin with our next speaker. He served as chairman of the Department of Humanities of UP Diliman from 1976 to 1982. He was elected president of the Pambansang Samahan sa Psikolohiyang Pilipino in 1985 to 1986. His intense interest in Philippine culture, especially the indigenous, soon became widely recognized. He was elected as the chairman of the MCCA for 2 consecutive terms from 2011 to 2016. He finished his doctoral studies in developmental anthropology at the Asian Social Institute, where he presently teaches semiotics, mythology, and social transformation courses. He was Commissioner of UNESCO Philippines from 1999 to 2002 and Chairman of its Committee on Culture in 2002. He was also elected as Vice President of the International Music Council, or IMC, of the UNESCO in California in 2005. Currently, he is the head of National Committee on Music of NTCA and member of the Gawad sa Manilikanang Bayan Gamaba Executive Council. He had served as chairman of the Gamaba Executive Council from 1993 to 2007. Here to discuss living Filipino cultures and their artistic expressions, please welcome the highly esteemed Professor June De Leon.
Maraming salamat sa inyo.
Magandang umaga po, Professor June.
Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Ako nandito na naman ako at napakaganda ng audience natin. Mga teachers talaga ang nangangailangan ng ganito. Pagka mababa ang quality ng teachers ay apektado ang buong bansa. Kaya pinakamatinding obligasyon natin ay talagang pataasin ang quality ng pagtuturo ng mga teachers. At importante sa mga session na ganito para talaga lalong maunawaan ang kultura natin.
Maraming salamat po for that, Professor June, no? Kasi magsisimula pa lang po ang ating talk at kami po ay inspired na sa mga sinabi mo. So, please do take it away, Professor June.
Thank you. Salamat. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Thank you, Art Academy of CCP, for inviting me to give you this presentation on living Filipino cultures and their artistic expressions. But before we go to these living Filipino cultures, let's look at the 4 cultures that exist anywhere at any time in the world. In any society, at least 4 types of culture exist. 2 are ego or fear-based. One is the culture of power, where people are attached to power and privilege, control, and domination. The other is culture of wealth, a culture where people are attached to wealth and material goods, possessions, pleasure, and comfort. There's a third. This is the culture of the common good, or culture of the higher self, pagpapakatao, shared being. Meron tayong kasabihan, madaling maging tao, mahirap magpakatao. It's easy to be born as a human being, but it's very difficult to be humane. No? This is the culture devoted to the search for wisdom, spirituality, creativity, strength of character, love, and sharing. So this is the culture of devotion to a higher cause. These are the 3 main cultures and their practitioners. Culture of power, you find that the politicians, the military, or even dictators and authoritarian rulers. You find the culture of wealth, where you find businessmen, tycoons, no? And the third is the most difficult to achieve, culture of the common good. Kasi sakripisyo para kayo mapabilang dyan. Kailangan sakripisyo para kayo mapabilang dyan. So, civic society belongs to this culture. And civic society is a voluntary body or society which aims to represent the needs of a local community. Matrabaho yan, madalas walang pera, sakripisyo, kaya volunteer basis. No? We have spiritual leaders, humanitarians, educators like Rizal, Mabini, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Oscar Schindler, and Pope Francis. Through time, however, a society constructs a unifying vision of life, which includes a worldview or pananaw for their idea of reality. Ano talaga ang katotohanan? What is ultimate truth? This is culture as a creative construct or what we call ethnicity. Dito nanggagaling yung core culture or core values natin, which in turn promote the cultivation or culturing of skills to realize these values. Ano ba ang laman ng ethnicity? According to a 2003 UNESCO Convention, ethnicity contains these four domains, no? Oral traditions and expressions, including languages. Marami tayo yan. We have at least 131 languages according to the KWF. Performing arts, you know that very well. Social practices, rituals, and festive events. Marami tayong fiesta, no? Lahat ng kaalaman, no? Knowledge and practices concerning nature and the universe. And of course, traditional craftsmanship. Nandiyan ang weaving, mat making, basket making, wood carving, marami pa, no? It's important to note that the core principles of Filipino ethnicity, which are kapwa-based, are built upon the culture of the common good rather than the culture of power or the culture of wealth. That is why relationships are far more important for most Filipinos than economic power or even political power. Kaya nga, when we blame Filipino core culture for its so-called deficiencies and negative qualities, we are barking at the wrong tree. Kasi yung crab mentality, abusive family dynasties, and endemic corruption, that's all over the world. Hindi lang sa Pilipinas yan. I can give you many examples for this kung kailangan. These negative qualities are actually manifestations of the deep-seated universal addiction or greed of people who belong to the cultures of power and wealth. Ngayon, let's go to our core cultures or core values. Filipino core culture before colonization was not a tabula rasa. It was not a blank slate. It had a highly developed cosmology, life skills, harmonious coexistence with nature, self-sufficient economy, and thriving communities, and elaborate arts and rituals. Tignan niyo lang yung Boxer Codex, ang gaganda ng pananamit natin doon. This culture became the mother template or the processor of all new ideas that visited our archipelago and turned these new ideas into Filipino cultural creations. Yung may darating na bagong influence, each time a new wave of cultural influences entered our consciousness, we were immensely enriched because a new concoction arose out of the cultural alchemy that happened, no? Binabago natin yan, pinaproseso natin para maging Pinoy. And you can say that sa dami ng mga naging subcultures or living Filipino cultures, not one is superior to the others. All are equal. They are just different from one another. Each is a unique creative response to external factors and new set of circumstances. So what is the process, no? That made all these external factors or influences Filipino? Well, there's a mother template. There's a mother template based on two key beliefs. Two key beliefs, though rarely articulated, have permeated the Filipino cultural unconscious from ancient times to the present. You may call this our archetypes, no? One is that all levels of existence are permeated with life or a creative living presence. Everything is alive, including the elements of nature. Yan ang talagang paniniwala ng mga Pilipino all over the country, especially the indigenous peoples. Buhay ang hangin, lupa, tubig, apoy. Kaya nga, mga Pilipino, maski yung lumaki sa siyudad, pag dumaan sa dalawang malalaking puno, nagpapasintabi po kasi may mga nature spirits dyan, no? The other key belief is that all goodness, creative insights, the most inspired ideas, and the extraordinary abilities come from God or the divine force in the innermost core of our being. Hindi tayo ang pinanggagalingan ng galing. We are only channels, no? Okay, of a creative force from above. Yan ang pangalawang key belief. And yung dalawang beliefs na yan ang nag-process sa lahat ng external influences para maging Pinoy. No? So, to continue, in Philippine culture, there is an underlying belief in the shared identity of human beings. Kasi lahat tayo ay galing sa itaas. Individual existence is only apparent and relative. We all come from the Great Spirit, no? Each one of us is a ray of God. So we all exist within a cosmic matrix of being, at the deepest center of which is a creative living principle or energetic process. The core values generated by these two pillars of belief are this. No? Talagang Pinoy na Pinoy ito mga ito. No? Harmony with all of creation. Sensitivity to the life force. Celebration of life. Kaya ang dami-dami natin mga piyesta at mga pagdiribang. No? Human connectivity. We may be number one in the world when it comes to relationality. Soulfulness talaga rin naman, lalo na sa music. No? Love and devotion. Mapagmahal ang Pilipino. Nurturance. We are number one in caregiving. Openness and expressiveness, especially to the performing arts. Communal creativity. Kita niyo yung mga gawa ng mga katutubo. No? Oneness with the God within. Napaka-devotional natin. Equality. Inclusiveness or participation. These are non-negotiable demands of our culture. Let's look. No? The values of a people, their sensibility or mindset is always unique and distinctive. No two cultures are identical in this respect. It is very interesting to study the way Filipinos feel, think, and express themselves, lalo na through art, no? The movements of our mind, the movements of our soul or spirit, or inner patterns of thought can be translated into artistic expressions, whether it be visual, oral, or kinetic. What is important to realize is that it is not influences that matter, but what we do to them. Hanggang ngayon kasi, ang mga Arab Pilipino, maski mga scholars, nakapako pa sa, ano ba yung Spanish influence, ano ba yung American influence? Forget about those influences. Ang importante is how the recipient culture modifies, transforms, or gives them new meanings and functions. What matters is how we make influences our own, how we Filipinize or indigenize them. Diyan natin na makikita ang pagka-Pilipino natin. Examples, yung tango, ginawa natin love song, naging dansa. Willis Jeep, naging jeepney. Ayaw natin masyado ng mooncake kasi buhag-hag. At tintiyo, we made it hopya. Oh? And this process is inevitable. One of our great cultural historians who passed away recently, sabi niya, the stranger of yesterday is the native of today. Maski anong alien ng araw, ngayon, Pinoy na yon, no? Binabago natin. Tingnan niyo itong Willis Jeep. Drab, olive green looking vehicle, wala halos ka-arte-arte. What did we do to this? Ayan, ginawa nating jeepney. Cornucopia Baroque, psychedelic, kaleidoscopic patterns of colors and shapes and designs. Ibang-iba. Diyan, Pinilipinize natin. Walang nakakaligtas dyan sa Filipinization. Just a matter of time. The ultimate basis of human connectivity in Philippine culture is the belief in kapwa. That each one of us is a unique expression of a divine being, Allah or God. Na bawat isa sa atin ay sinag ng dakilang may likha, thus making us all one or feel as one. Kaya nga tayo ay may pakialam sa kapwa. Pag nakakita kayo ng kaibigan, lumalakad sa kalye, saan ka galing? O saan ka pupunta? Ano gagawin mo ron? In individualistic cultures, wala kayong pakialam doon. That's none of your business. But we feel a certain connection with everybody. That's why we share concerns. And we go through life exploring, realizing, and strengthening this oneness. Lalo na pag kami mga problema, ang kapwa, lumalabas ang pagkikipagkapwa, no? Like yung mga community pantries na lumabas dahil nararamdaman na ng mga lumikha ng community pantries kagaya ni Patricia noon na naghihirap na ang kapwa. Kaya spontaneously, naglabasan niya yung mga community pantries all over the country. Yan din yung pakikipagkapwa din ang source ng malasakit at totoong bayanihan, no? Well, we really love to connect to people. Pero among the most highly relational in the world, we are hardly alone. Maski na pa ginagawa natin, we like to feel connected to the world, God and nature, but most of all, to people. Kaya walang gustong maiwanan sa kodakan. Habol lang habol sa picture taking hanggang maging ganyang karami na ang tao. Togetherness is happiness. We hardly eat alone. Pag may kumakain na nag-iisa na aawa kayo, ba't nag-iisa ka? May problema ka ba? Gusto mo samahan kita? Invite a person to your party. How many will come? Kung minsan isang barkada kasi ayaw mag-iwalay ng mga magkakaibigan. Our hospitals almost always have an extra bed kasi palaging may bantay, which is very good medically. Because sabi ng mga doktor, Pag sinasamahan niyo yung may sakit, mas madaling gagaling. And we smile most of the time kasi that's the easiest, cheapest way to connect with others. And we don't like just first three prizes or even runners up. Gusto natin special prizes para may tinatanggap yung lahat. We love to share blessings. And we are so eager for social networking. We are number one in social media. Number one is sa texting, Facebook, and selfie. No? Bonus makes workers feel part of the family of the boss. Kaya, ano yan, magbigay kayo ng bonus, maski token, kasi you make your workers feel part of your family. Magiging mas honest sila and masipag. Pasalubong is almost a sacred ritual because it's the best way to reconnect to your loved ones after coming home from a distance. Tingnan nyo, talagang pagdating sa connectivity, hindi kayo mananalo sa Pilipino. Sa isang pag-aaral published in 2013, in a study of countries, no, where people feel the most love, tayo ang nangunguna, 93%, followed by Rwanda and Puerto Rico. Ibig sabihin, sa lahat ng lipunan sa buong mundo, tayo ang pinaka nagmamahal sa kapwa o nakakaramdam ng pagmamahal. Of course, this is not complete because it's only out of 136 countries. Pero significant na rin yan. Tingnan nyo, sino pinaka namumular yan? 56% love, 93% nga tayo. Yun, sa kanan, yung Pilipino, yun, namumular dyan, no? Number one in feeling love. Our core culture is a mapagkalinga culture. At our best, we are a highly nurturing, caring, sharing people. Kaya ang dami nating frontliners na caregivers, mga nurses, mga doktor, mga yaya, no? Talagang nagsasakripisyo sila para sa kapwa. We are a highly nurturing, caring, sharing people with a strong maternal orientation and definitely not loners. Because of our genius in interpersonal communication and a nurturing, caring attitude, we excel in the service professions or industry. Now, let's look at the living Filipino cultures. There are 8. Kultura ng pagdidiwata, pag-uukir at pag-uuma, pamamanata, pananahan, paglilining at pangangatwiran, pag-aaliw, pamumuna at pagtutol, pagka-Pilipino at pagkabansa. We'll look at each one, no? Let's begin with kultura ng pagdidiwata, harmony with nature and the spirit world. In many indigenous cultures, diwata means spirit, no? Ito ang pinakamatanda pero buhay na buhay pa rin until now. The source, of course, is indigenous Southeast Asian, beginning around 47,000 years ago and buhay na buhay until now. How do you organize people here? Well, they are harmonizing with nature most of the time, and they have a holistic way of life. They give importance to all the levels of our being, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. No? That's why if you use the spiritual as a basis, no, of organizing your life, you become an artist. Because our spirit comes from God, who is the great creative force in the universe. So being a ray of God, we also would like to express our creativity. That's why in our indigenous cultures, art is an expression of wholeness. Everybody is an artist. For the indigenous peoples, people of the Cordillera, Mangyan of Mindoro, Palawanin of Palawan, Aipis of Mindanao, the Agta, Arta, Alta, Aita, Abilien, Dumagat, Ita, Ati, Batak, mga iba pang terminology para sa mga ating black or negrito peoples, including the Mamanoa of Surigao. These people are the closest to nature. No? Sabi nila, the earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. Ang ganda, no? Pag ganyan ang philosophy nyo, hindi nyo sisirain ng kalikasan. So, art for them is an expression of being whole. Kung buong tao kayo, you'll be an artist. Indigenous art is the most integrated with everyday life. Multifunctional. Hindi lang isa ang gamit. Hindi lang para tignan sa gallery. Multifunctional yan and participatory. Creative activity is not cultivated as a special gift by select individuals, but the domain of everyone. Kaya ang gaganda ng mga likhang sining nila. Ito, ang daming styles ng rice terraces, baka akala nyo isa lang. They are scores, no? Of different styles. The Bulol, Ifugao house, very unique. No? Very unique. Ifugao basket. Palawan. rice baskets, tiyangan cloth, tingyan weaving from Abra. Ito ay pinagawa nilang Dulay, National Living Treasure, no? Panlilikha ng bayan from Lake Cebu, South Cotabato. Ito ay kay Salintamo noon, another manlilikha ng bayan, Bagobo from Davao del Sur. And this is from one of the most recently given the award Manlilikha ng Bayan, Fuyabing, no? From Pulomolok, South Cotabato. Look at the Tiboli blouse, very colorful, very intricate. Ito ay Sulat Mangyan, ni Ginaw Bilog, another Manlilikha ng Bayan. And look at the Bukidnon dances. Ito ay gawa ng mga Jamamapon sa Mulbog, Palawan, no? Gagandang bayan. Well, gawa ng mga Tagaluano sa Bukidnon. And look at this setup, no? They gather around the center, they discuss, they eat. Ito ang basic arrangement ng mga bahay natin, including the ancestral house. Kasi yung ancestral house, organize yung buong bahay around the living room. Kaya basically, ganito yan. No? Pati pagkain natin, we gather around the food to share blessings. Yan. Ganyan. No? This is communal gathering and togetherness. As in the way we eat, dances which depict communal gathering, especially ritual dances which celebrate sacred feasts or depict people working together, abound in Philippine culture. An excellent example is the Buklog ritual of the Subanan, where people hold hands, forming a circle around a wooden pole at the center of a trampoline-like platform raised about 10 or more feet above the ground. They jump up and down while dancing toward and away from the center pole. Ito man ay mga sayaw ng mga hugaw, no, sa Banawe. Look, circular din ang arrangement. Mahilig kayo sa ganyan kasi the best way to communicate communal togetherness. Now, let's now go to the second living Filipino culture. We may call it kultura ng pag-uuma at pag-ukir. Uma means the Muslim community worldwide, and pag-ukir is creating an arabesque kind of art. How are they organized? Mainly, they are organized by the Sultanate, and because Islam is embraced by the state, there is a unity of religion and the state. And we also find the refinement and sophistication of courtly art. Why courtly art? Because when people make art, create art, they like it to be appreciated by the Sultan. So anyway, there's some kind of a royalty, no, or courtly atmosphere that influences the art so that it becomes highly sophisticated and refined. Even when Islam came to the Philippines in the 13th century, the basic Southeast Asian character of the Filipinos in Mindanao and other places where Islam spread, including Manila, remained stable. In other words, hindi nawala yung pagiging Southeast Asian. The holistic way of life of our indigenous peoples continued to prosper, taking care of the four aspects of well-being: physical, emotional, mental, and the spiritual. Gone, however, was the overt belief and interaction with nature spirits, kasi bawal yan sa Islam, although pinapractice nila yan secretly. What took its place was the fundamental idea which defines a human being as a Muslim. The declaration of faith that there is a creator who is called God or Allah, and that the creator is one and single. Ayaw nila maging polytheistic. And for Muslims, there is no God but God, and that we are all accountable to God for our actions. Complete submission to the will of Allah meant that in Islam, politics and religion became one. There evolved a larger political entity called the Sultanate, which bound together the scattered traditional village communities of the Tausug, Maguindanao, Miranao, Yakan, and other ethnic groups who converted to Islam. Through the Sultanate, our Muslim communities felt a strong political affinity with other sultanates in Southeast Asia and Muslim leadership in other countries, resulting in what is now called Ummah, or Ummah, the Muslim community worldwide. The combined influences of the cultures of India, Indonesia, and Arabic non-figurative art and calligraphy integrated within a Southeast Asian base contributed to the development of an art of social grace and refinement called Okir. Tignan nyo, napaka-pino, no? Look at the detail and intricate detail of this Maguindanao Malong, Tausug Sas, Tausug headdress, Yakan table runner. Yes, okay, table runner. Yakan male attire. Ito ay banig ng Maguindanao. Maguindanao. Ito Tausug mat. And among the best, perhaps the best mat makers in this country are the Sama of Tawi-Tawi. Yan ang gagaling ng mga badya. Huwag niyong matahin ng badya. Ang gagaling nila sa banig. Very intricate design, highly geometric, no? And from our Muslim Filipinos come Sagayan, a healing and war dance. No? Kami Maguindanao and Maranao. Sagayan. We have Singkil, kilala nyo na yan, madalas sayawin ng bayanihan. And itong dance, simulating movement on the waves, no? Yakan wedding dance. Maranao fun dance. And ito yung bahay ng Sultan. Ito Rogan. Look at the beam ends. Yung tinatawag yan ng panulong. Very intricate oak here. No? Ang galing nila. Or, look at this. Very intricate oak here. Napakagandang design, very aesthetic. At the same time, ano yan? Kultura lang ng nyog yan. Art is part of everyday life. You see art everywhere. You don't have to go to galleries or museums in order to see art. Art is integrated with everyday life. Maraming functions. No? Ang lakob. Oh, tobacco container. Hindi lang para tignan yan. Tobacco container. And their weaponry, brassware. Maraming pakinabang ang art. Pagtatanggol, mga ritual, an aid to meditation. Yan. Lalabay para sa bata, yung music. This is the burak. Yung mga among the mythical creatures of Maranao culture. Ayan, yung sarimanok nila, especially messenger of the gods, part of the base of Ekulintang, napakaganda. Meron din ganyan, no? A very intricate base of the Ekulintang with the sarimanok at the end, na nasa collection ng National Museum. Now, let's go to the third living Filipino culture. This is the kultura ng pamamanata or culture of devotion to the patron saints. When Christianity was brought to the Philippines by Spain in the 16th century, it already had a cultural foundation to latch on. Meron na mapag-aangklahan. That was the worldview of Kapwa. The rootedness of each one of us in the one divine ground of being. Christianity could easily fit within this matrix of being because its ideals of mercy, compassion, sacrifice, malasakit, and devotion to the sacred are only possible if we feel as one with God and all of creation. Kasi napaka-devotional ng mga Pilipino mula pa noong araw. What are the organizing principles? Of course, devotion to the patron saint, spirit of sacrifice and service to the community. That's why art is for social cohesion based on the devotion to the patron saint, which became the integrating principle. Tignan niyo yung pahiyas. Ang daming nangyayari dyan. Nandiyan lang pahiyas, mainly the arts that you find all over the town. At the same time, trade fair yun, may fashion show, may parade ng mga bands, no? But they're all centered around devotion to San Isidro de Labrador. Kaya nga, nagiging organizing principle yung devotion. Who are the people in this kultura? The Ibatan, Ibanag, Ilocano, Pangasinan, Sambal, and other folks of Northern Luzon, living in the villages, no? Tagalog, Kapampangan, Bicolano of Central and Southern Luzon villages, Cebuano or Cebuano, Ilonggo, Waray, and other Visayas in the villages all over Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Devotion to Christ, Santo Niño, Virgin Mary, patron saints, no? Yan ang talagang debosyon ng kultura ng pamamanata. This culture is essentially Southeast Asian with a strongly animistic core, though with elements of Latin culture, meaning yung influence ng Mexican, Italian, or Hispanic cultures. Nandyan. Pero in-integrate natin, no? Sa sarili natin. These folk or village peoples are mostly farmers, fishermen, artisans, vendors, and traders. They have a deep faith in God whom they serve with utmost devotion. Their key celebration is the fiesta. Kaya nga, kultura ng pamamanata. No? Fiesta ang pinaka-main celebration revolving around Santo Niño, Virgin Mary, Jesus Christ, or the patron saint. Yang devotional orientation na yan, ang talagang pinaka-importanting resource natin for creative yet painstaking and repetitive tasks requiring great patience like weaving, embroidery, carving, and metalwork. Just look at this. Sobrang tiyaga, pasensya, at skill ang kinakailangan before you can make this Ilocano Abel. Ang gagaling yan ng mga taga Ilocos Norte. This is called binakol, a weaving technique that is, well, handmade, no? Manual. Ito pa, so look at the detail. Napakamasensin. How do you do this? Mga kabataan ngayon, kaya pa ba ninyo ito? Another example of Abel of the Ilocanos. Using the Cosicos design or whirlwind design. Parang op art, napaka-modern, pero traditional yan, no? Now, this one, from Samar, Basay Samar. Napakagandang bahig. Look at the very beautiful creative artistry for these people of Samar. Or another one from Basay Samar. Parang daig pang rainbow sa dami ng kulay. And look at this one, tiyaga. Karakot at tiyaga para magawa yung mga kulay at prutas at ano pa. Yung papel, yung dyaryo. This is made of old newspapers, paper mache in Paite, Laguna. Yung mga gulay na yan. Maganda. And of course, our metal smithing, especially the one still being made by our Manilikanang bayan from Apalit, Pampanga, si Eddie Mutok. Ang gagaling nila. These are all folk creations, especially the most dazzling, intricate, the biggest Christmas lantern in the world. This is San Fernando lantern. Walang tatalo dyan na Christmas lantern. Yan, all of these are folk creations. Galing sa kultura ng pamamanata. Kasi kung wala kayong panata sa patron, sa kapanganakan ni Kristo, hindi kayo magkakaroon ng ganyang tiyaga. And mga pahiyas ng lukban, yan, look at how artistic. Pati yung color combination, no? The rainbow, the design of the chandelier in Lipahiyas of Lukban. Well, of course, we have Maglalatik, folk dance, the Binasuan of Pangasinan. Ito naman, bago magsayaw sa apoy, nagdadasal sila, humingi ng permiso para makasayaw sa apoy nang hindi masusunog. Isubli o Batangas, which is mythical ritual dedicated to the Holy Cross, no? Now, in all of these rituals, we touch a lot. But of course, we are touching people because touching is one of the best ways to connect. Kaya nga, bibili kayo sa palengke, halos lahat hinihipo. And touching is really very good for health because according to Leo Vizcaya, touching releases endorphins which kill pain and increase immunity to disease. Mga Pilipino, naniniwala na if you touch the image of a patron saint, no, you will be healed. Kaya marami tayong ritual na ganyan. Nakikihila ng karosa o tinutulak yung karosa. This one is during Holy Friday in Binangonan. Tinutulak yung Santo Sepulcro. But ganyan din, Nuestra Señora de Penifrancia in Naga. People touch a lot, walang siksikan, walang social distancing. Kaya they like to be as close to the Virgin Mary as much as possible. And especially, this one, held every January 9, yung Feast of the Black Nazarene in Quiapo. Grabe ang dami ng tao. Yan, no? All wanting to get blessings from the Black Nazarene. Ang palagi ko hindi lang blessings, kaya sila gumagaling dahil din sa mga katakot-takot na masahe na tinanggap nila buong araw dyan. And of course, our another feast that we celebrate, Moriones, no? Of Marinduque, every Holy Week. Ayan. Look at this mask. Talagang kitang-kita niya ang Philippine culture dyan. If you look at Philippine culture, you'll find a union of opposites. Sa ating philosophy, if a thing is true or valid, its opposite must also be true or valid. Yan ang ating yin-yang. Yin-yang are two sides of a coin. You cannot separate one from the other. Kaya tingnan yung maskarang yan. Mabagsik, pero ang binabalanse ng bulaklak. No? the forceful and the tender. Ganyan din sa barong. Masculine, pero ang daming bulaklak. You don't find this in the West. Sa atin, we integrate. Because the Spirit integrates everything, no? Balances everything. Ayan, no? Mas mahalang barong, mas bulaklakin, pero pang macho yan, no? And we are correct. Our culture is correct in giving opposites much importance because according to Carl Jung, lahat ng klaseng energy come from the union of opposites. Walang kuryente kung walang positive at negative. Walang magnetism kung walang north and south pole. That's why, look at how wise our culture is. Our myth of creation of the first man and woman come from one single pole of bamboo. Magkasama sila. They come out together, fully equal. Si Kalak at si Kabay. Talagang they are inseparable because there will be no energy if you separate the sexes, no, from one another. That's why our gender equality has always been number 1 in Asia Pacific, and we have always been in the top 10 of the global gender gap index since it started in 2006. Palagi tayong nasa top 10 kasi nga hanggang ngayon malakas sa atin yung myth of creation na lumabas yung babae at lalaki, no? Si Kabay na babae, si Kalak na lalaki, together from that piece of bamboo. Hindi lang sa gender relations yung equality niyan. Pagkain, music, mask, attire, healing, and other things, we pair exact opposites. Matabang mala sa principle. Naku, Pinoy na Pinoy yan. Hindi ganyan sa US. Kanin, ulam, toko at baboy, putot, tindigan, manggang hilaw, bagoong, kutsinta, nyog. Sa music, pinagsasama yung buo at basag na tunog, no? And in our kinship system, we are bilateral. Kamag-anak nyo ang both mother side and father side. Unlike in Arab cultures or in some Indian cultures or even in Israeli culture, usually ang reckoning ng kinship ay father side lang. Paternal, no? Sa atin hindi. Kamag-anak natin both father side and mother side. That's why even in hosting shows, we traditionally pair a man and a woman. Hindi pwedeng babae lang o lalaki lang. Di ba natandaan nyo, dati si Ted Filon and Corina Sanchez, no? Mel and Jay, si Chris Aquino and Boy Abunda. Ayaw natin ng isa lang. Ganyan talaga ang mga Pilipino, no? We love balance. Okay. Let's now look at the fourth living Filipino culture. The culture of devotion to home and family. This began in the 18th century with the development of commerce and the growth of towns. Kasi yung mga nandun sa poblasyon, medyo mga yung mistisong Pilipino at Inchik, mistisong Pilipino at Kastila, yumama na sila. Well, nag-originate kasi yung Pueblo dahil yung mga Kastila gusto nilang ilagay sa center of town yung mga medyo may kapangyarihan so that they can be watched. Kasi baka nga naman magrebelde o magrevolusyon yung mga medyo may kaya, no? So, Pueblo concept is a kind of hamleting. Well, because of the development of commerce and the growth of towns, devotion has shifted from the patron saint to the family. Naging mas materialistic ang mga tao, humina yung devotion. Kaya ngayon, ano naging function ng art? Well, kasi kung family-oriented na ang art, bago kayo magkaroon ng pamilya, you have to have romance. Kaya art began to connect hearts, foster social relations in order to make the family prosper. With the increasing secularization and commercialization of the town centers in most Philippine provinces, devotion to the patron saint gradually weakened. A culture of devotion to the family took its place. The communal orientation was replaced by a concern for family stability and continuity. Okay lang to as long as it does not degenerate into a power play of family dynasties competing for dominance in the provinces. Sino yung mga tao riyan? Lahat ng classes, no? Yung ating kultura ng poblasyon, we call this kulturang popular kasi pinaka-dominante yan sa buong Pilipinas. Kaya that's our popular culture, pinaka-influential. We have all the socio-economic classes there. The lower class, the middle class consisting of professionals, mga dentista, doktor, abogado, and so on. And the upper class, nandiyan yung medyo may kaya at mga trapo, traditional politicians, land-owning families, any traditional business families or dynasties. The object of devotion, of course, family, ancestors, ancestral home, mga popular personalities, popular leaders, mga popular na mayor, popular na congressman, popular na governor, sinisipan ng mga artista, no? Well, the highest values, I already mentioned, devotion to the family and sanctity of the home, social position, mabuting pwesto, social stability, and respectability, paglagay sa tahimik, social and political connections. Ayan. Importante ang pamilya. Kaya, family-oriented kayo, importante ang romansa, importante ang telenovela. Alam niyo naman sa poblasyon, nandyan yan talaga ng mga telenovela. Panay tungkol sa relasyon mo yun. No? Yan. Ito, siyempre, pag medyo may kaya na kayo, you can afford such chairs. Ito ay, hindi to armchair. Basically, pwede din armchair, pero pag in-extend nyo yung extension yan, this becomes a leg chair. Kasi buta ka yan pahingahan ng mga napapagod yung legs, no? And of course, pag may kaya kayo, you can have this made for you. This is the galinera, kulungan ng manok, a work of art at the same time, no? Or you can afford the Daxil master carver from Paite to make this ano ito? Parang lagyan ng salamin o litrato, no? And in the center of town, you have Maria Clara dances. Because Maria Clara dances are not for the rice fields. Hindi yan para sa mga hindi yan para sa mga barangay, no? Kasi walang masyadong pera doon. These are poblasyon dances. Saka hindi kayo magsasayaw sa bukid ng may high heels or parasol. Ang mamahal ng damit. No, yan. Maria Clara dances. And you find in the poblasyon the Rigodon de Honor para makilala ng mga pamilya ang isa't isa to gain more power para magkaroon sila ng pagtutulungan sa kanilang mga negosyo. And of course, yan ang tinatawag nating Rigodon. Of course, they have to have political connections, no? The big churches are found in the poblasyon, like the Paway Church in Ilocos Norte and Miagao Church in Iloilo. Ayan. Interior, elaborate. And like this one, authentic 19th century church ceiling painting in Sibonga Church in Cebu. Ito, Cebu rin to, Karkar Church. And big brass bands are in the center of the town. And the towns can afford even rondalla groups like this. Let's go to something that's very important to consider. Yung ancestral house natin, that's not Spanish. That's Filipino or even purely Filipino, no? Ang talagang bahay Kastila ay ganito. They have very small windows without awnings, meaning yung wala yung parang shade sa bawah ng bintana. And roofs, putol, have no overhang, hindi nag-extend beyond the wall. And you can see the houses are made of stone all throughout. This one is not Spanish. This is purely Filipino. There is nothing Spanish about it except siguro for the grills, no? It's actually another version of the Bahay Kubo. Ang mga ancestral houses natin are different versions of the Bahay Kubo na iba lang ang material. We should stop calling such structures Spanish houses. Kagaya ito, maski na ito, itong Malacanang of the North na ito. Bukas na bukas ang mga bintana, very wide open windows, aanhin nyo yan sa Europe. Pagdating ng winter, maninigas kayo. And look at the capistials. There are no capistials in Europe. Siguro ang European lang dito yung chandelier at saka yung sala set. And even this, the house of Crisologo in Bigan. Tingnan nyo, yung may malapit sa sahig, may ventanilla. Ventanillas are not found in European architecture. Yan, nandiyan ang butaka, wide open window. We have windows all around our ancestral houses. Feature ng bahay ko ba yan? We love airy spaciousness, something maaliwalas. Because we place high value on being natural, informal, and personal. Kasi kitang-kita niyo yung mga tao na gumagalaw sa loob at labas ng bahay. No? We can easily connect to them. Note, in most Western cultures, guests are allowed to move around only within the confines of the living room. Masyadong formal, ano? In our culture, guests may roam anywhere inside or outside the house. Pag may party, Even in the bedrooms, may mga bisita. Why? Because we are a highly accessible and accommodating people. Basically, trusting and open. No? This quality of character manifests in transparency or openness. Pag open and trusting ang mga tao, ang lalabas sa art ay transparency o yung talagang open na open, lalo na sa architecture. Yan ang correlation, no? Inyo, traditional sa atin yung transparency. Barong. And note, dumating sa atin ang cubism, natutuhan ni Manansala sa Europe. But in 1963, he transformed cubism in something very Pinoy. Sabi ko nga, transparency is native to us. Tingnan niyo ginawa niya sa cubism. Transparent cubism ang nangyari. No? This is our contribution to world art. Manansala introduced transparent cubism to world art because pinilipinize niya ang cubism. Sa Europe, opaque ang cubism. Sa atin, ginawang transparent. Just like what we have in Barong, yung bukas na mga bahay, and so on. Ayan, ang dami na influensya ni Manansala. Modern art natin, transparent. Oh, even Arenas glass sculpture. In contrast to what? Spanish houses. Look, this is a house, typical house in Andalusia. Naku, saradong-sarado. Made of stone all throughout. Sa atin, yung stone makikita mo na sa baba, pero sa itaas usually kahoy na. Look at the small windows. Walang ventanilla. Kayo ba titira dyan? Parang prison house ito. This is a Spanish farmhouse. Again, ang liliit na mga bintana. Panay ba to? On the other hand, this is very Pinoy. Very Filipino. Look at the windows all around the house. Yung extension ng bubong. Na hindi naman iba rito. Oh, yan. Exactly the same design. Oh, Filipino yan. Na iba lang material. So this cannot be foreign. Yan, Pinoy. Spanish houses have no ventanillas and made of stone all throughout. Ayan, Spanish. Maliliit pa yung bintana. On the other hand, this is a very beautiful ancestral house made of wood all throughout. Look at the ventanillas, officials, and the extension of the roof, and the steep roof para tumulok agad yung tubig, bumaba ka agad. Again, Spanish. Filipino. Tignan niyo yung ganda ng pasok ng liwanag. Modulated light, no? Ang lambot sa mata. Hindi nakakasilaw because of the capistials. And look at the spaciousness of his house. Talagang kitang-kita niya lahat ng gumagalaw sa loob ng bahay and even kapitbahay because of the wide open windows. Again, Spanish. Filipino ancestral house. I think you can see the clear difference, no? And Spanish again. This is a recent house. Medyo Pinoy pero kung kailan lang yan, wala lang kapis. Sa Marikina ito. Again, Spanish. So, you can see, we can, because of the transparency in our, the prevalence of transparency in our culture, we can ask the question,
Mami,
what are the implications of the Filipino demand for transparency? The strong urge to connect, rooted in kapwa, our sense of oneness with others makes opaque, secretive, aloof, inexpressive persons or organizations suspect.
ayusin natin yung
Pag masyadong secretive, hindi open, hindi trusting, naku, suspect agad yan. We associate this with bad faith, insincerity, and lack of concern for others. What are the political implications of this? Ang mga Pilipino, gustong-gusto na ang mga Pilipino ang bukas ang kalooban. What is the vulnerability of the kultura ng pananahan? Kultura ng pananahan's devotion to family togetherness is highly beneficial. For scientific studies confirm that good relationships keep us happier and healthier. But too much importance focused on the family rather than the nation has given rise to the cult or curse of family dynasties, no? Who, since the Spanish period, have been addicted to the culture of power and culture of wealth. Hindi yan Pinoy. Hindi yan kultura ng pagkikipagkapwa. The cultures of power and wealth exist all over the world. Mayroong mga taong talagang napupunta sa kulturang yan. Kasi ang isang tao, pag yumayaman, according to many studies, habang yumayaman ang isang tao, nagiging mas manhid sa kapwa. Kaya nagiging mas makasarili. This is true anywhere in the world. So yung mga masyadong yumayaman, sa mga poblasyon ay yan ang nagiging mga napagsamantala madalas. That's why according to Jesus Pernia of NEDA, formerly head of NEDA, just 40 elite families control 76% of our nation's wealth. Ayaw nilang i-share. No? Kaya ganyan talagang nangyayari sa Pilipinas. Karamihan ng mga poblasyon, politicians ang nangingibabaw, sinasakin yung negosyante, pumapayag naman kasi yung negosyante, sinasakin yung common man. Ang pinaka nagdadala ng burden ay magsasaka. Samantalang sa Japan, pinaka-importante yung magsasaka o yung magbubukid. That's why the Philippines is not poor. It is just being plundered all the time by politicians whom poor people vote for. Sana magbago na tayo. Now, we can go to the fifth culture, the kultura ng paglilining, culture of reflection and reasoning. This began to flourish in the 19th century when elite native and mestizo families became successful in trade and commerce and could afford to send their children to good schools here and abroad. Academic education became more widespread during the American period. So ano ba organizing principles ng kulturang ito? This is academic culture, no? Search for truth. Kaya ang pinakamalaking kasalanan sa academe ay plagiarism. Because you're supposed to pursue new knowledge and new ideas. Hindi mangungopia lang. And art became an end in itself. Namana natin sa European, art for art's sake. So iba pang pangalan, academic culture, intellectual culture. For the proponents, college and university graduates of self-educated Filipinos oriented towards cultivation and refinement of the intellect, mind, feelings, and so on. Mga nandiyan mga scholars, researchers, intellectuals, cultural workers, artists, scientists, and so on, technical experts, specialists, no? And the enlightened, the real illustrados. Sino mga sinasamba nila? Whom do they idolize? Eminent thinkers, writers, artists, scientists, philosophers, spiritual leaders, experts, specialists. Itong culture na ito ang nag-institute ng awards and recognitions for cultural workers like National Artist Award, National Scientist Award, and so on. The highest values, information, knowledge, insight, wisdom, enlightenment, expertise, and so on. No? Together with mass or pop culture, the most westernized Filipinos belong to this subculture and thus the most individualistic. Self-reliance, self-promotion, and specialization are highly encouraged, resulting in a weaker sense of community and greater sense of privacy. Nagiging mas individualistic nga eh. Social interactions become more competitive and adversarial. Relationships become more impersonal and formal. Sa halip na tawagan o sabihin diretsa ng diretso, dinadaan pa sa memo. Yan. Art becomes an end in itself. The individual artist's reflection on life's meaning. Hindi na ito community expression, kundi individual expression. The artist no longer represents the community, having become a specialist in one discipline, his art. He is at the service, or he or she is at the service of his art based on a philosophy of European origin called art for art's sake. Tingnan yung banig. Yung banig sa, halimbawa, sa Sulu, no? O sa Tawi-Tawi, tulugan yan. Ritual mat yan. Wedding gift. Pag mayroong kasal, bawat bisita doon uupo sa wedding mat, no? Marami pang gamit yan. Mga pampaganda rin ng bahay. Of course, nandun na. Multifunctional. Pero pagdating sa Manila or collectors, a traditional mat is just framed for viewing. It is no longer multifunctional. That's the meaning of art for art's sake. No? Well, of course, marami ng mga dakila sa ganitong klaseng sining like Juan Luna, of course, and Fernando Amorsolo, Botong Francisco. We cannot minimize the importance of this art. However, it's not representative of the community. It's individual representation. No? Manansala, Olaso, Glenn Bautista, John Santos, of course, Bueva, Carolina, Gabi Barredo, and of course, the dances that you don't find in everyday life, but you have to go to a special place, special time for it. Mga ballet groups like ballet Philippines, Ballet Manila, and so on. Now, look at the correlation between values and art in this culture. Kasi yung connectivity ng Filipino, that's one of the running threads, no? That Filipinizes everything. Napipilipinize natin lahat ng klase ng influences na nanggagaling sa labas. Even Western type of painting, even art for us, ginagawa natin Pinoy yan. Look at what happens to academic art. Even in one of the most westernized art forms, itong painting, look at how Fabian de la Rosa hides the horizon. Bakit? No? Nakatago yung horizon. May mga bahay dyan, may mga puno. Samantalang in Western art, you can find the distant horizon. Ang layo yun. In Amor Solo, wala yan. Tatakpan niya ng mga kawayan, bahay. Why? Because look at this. Nasa middle ground yung mga taong liliit na. How can you connect to these people in the middle ground? You don't even see their faces. You don't feel their presence. So what's the point of putting a distant horizon? Hindi na makakapagsilbihan to bring you close to people. We like people close to us because we are highly connected. We like to connect. We are a highly relational people. We are a highly relational culture. So we like the people to be as close to us as possible. Kaya useless yung distant horizon. Lalagyan natin ng balandera para at least we feel a certain warmth. Malapit tayo sa mga kapwa. No? Kaya itong mga distant horizon na yun, alien yan maski sa academic art natin. Siguro mga 90% or more, hindi kayo makakakita ng ganyan. No? So, let's go to the sixth subculture. Kultura ng pag-aaliw or culture of mass entertainment. Ibig sabihin ng mass, ibig sabihin yung mga tao sa mass society. They are no longer close to one another. May kanya-kanyang profesyon. They don't even know each other. Samantalang sa traditional village, ang mga magkakamag-anak sila, magkakaibigan, no? They work together, no? Kaya magkakakilala, they're close. That's traditional culture. Pero sa mass culture, mass society like Manila, people don't know each other. Maski yung kapitbahay niyo kung isang hindi niyo kilala. That's why you get mass entertainment, yung directed sa lahat ng tao, to the lowest common denominator, especially. From the early 20th century to the present, there were already urban families wealthy enough to send their children to school without having to engage them in farm work or household chores. Kasi nung araw, walang masyadong pera, no? Mga pamilya, kasama nila sa bukid o sa dagat o sa ilog yung mga anak nila kasama sa trabaho. However, in the early 20th century hanggang ngayon, marami ng mayayaman who could send their children to school. Hindi kailangan magtrabaho ang mga bata. This gave rise to a generation of young people who had so much leisure in their hands after school. Wala silang magawa after school. They became the youth sector we now label teenagers. They are restless, full of energy, always looking for fun, thrills, and creative play. Paano silang pakakalmahin? Wala yung mga magulang nila nasa trabaho o very busy. No? In response to their needs, there arose a whole system of production or industry ideals and standards, types of research, expertise, and marketing strategies to cater to their needs. Many things became commodified because parents became too busy to teach their children creative skills. No? So the organizing principles are consumerism, mass entertainment, and art became a commodity. Mga ibang pangalan, mass culture, pop culture, commercial, consumerist, culture of fun, kultura ng pag-aaliw, and patronized by young people of highly urbanized and relatively industrialized, commercialized cities. Ang kinagigiliwan nila, no? Kinatutuan ng mga tao dito, mga bata dito, ay products of American popular or pop culture, the 3Ms like Mickey Mouse, McDonald's, Madonna, or their Philippine counterparts, and mga energetic OPM, MTV, fast food, video games, Hollywood movies, and the like. So, ang nasa culture na ito ay teenagers and youths in the peak of physical power and energy who seek equally physical forms of expression like bungee jumping, parang crack climbing, and thrills, no? Ibang klaseng physical thrills. Yan. Sino mga dinodyos nila? Objects of devotion are popular entertainers, movie idols, sports heroes, popular icons in all fields. And of course, their highest values are sensation, entertainment, comfort, wealth, instant gratification, pleasure, consumption, processed goods. Kaya ang art becomes entertainment. The aesthetics of fleeting pleasures. Yan tinatawag natin pop art. No? Kasi ang pop art, wala masyadong value except entertainment. Walang lasting value. Wala naman silang philosophical content. There's not much knowledge or new ideas or discoveries coming from them. Kaya usually pang entertain ka, parang bang yung bubble gum, masarap sa umpisa, afterwards wala nang lasa. Ganun ang pop, no? So this is the aesthetics of fleeting pleasures. And of course, commercial yan. Yan, mga examples ng pop. Nakakatuwa sa umpisa pero later wala nang value yan. Pampasaya lang ng mata at senses. Mga cosplays, mga banggaan na mga sikat, village people, nasaan na sila ngayon. And of course, hip-hop. Mayroon naman magagaling na hip-hop na nagawa nilang mas Pilipino yung hip-hop nila, integrating yung pangalay movements with the hip-hop. Pero panandali ang kasiyahan lang, especially mga ganyan, breakdance. Nakakatuwa, no? Now, after that, after pop culture, we go to kultura ng pagtutol or culture of protest against social ills. This began in the early 20th century as a protest against the hegemony of the American colonial government and its collaborators among the Filipino economic elite. This began particularly under the leadership of Isabela de los Reyes, who founded the labor movement. Ano organizing principles nito? Fight for social justice and equality, protection of human rights, and art became a protest against social ills, exploitation, and injustice. Makibaka, wag matakot. Gagaling din sa art yan. No? Alternative names, socialist, progressive, radical, kaliwa, aktivista, alternatibo. Sino mga proponents niyan? Masses and workers protesting against exploitation and fighting for their rights, kagaya ng KMU ni Crispin Beltran. Ideological activists or ideologue, parang si Luis Alandoni. Critical or socially concerned intellectual like Randy David or Conrad de Quiros. Advocates of alternative thought, members of the counterculture like Joey Ayala, Chris Nono, or Gary Granada. No? Object of devotion, dinadakila nila ang masses, radical thinkers, progressives, and proponents of human rights, social justice, and so on. No? Highest values, of course, social criticism, social transformation, justice and equality, human dignity, and freedom. Ayan ang mga examples ng art nila. Your silence will not protect you. Yung mga laban kay Pinoy, laban kay Duterte, laban sa AJK. Now, I think you know very well that art of protest, marami kayong maiisip na examples like Egay Fernandez, Biboy de Letabo, Elmer Borlongan, and so on. No? So okay, we can now go to the last living Filipino culture. This is kultura ng pagkabansa, the culture of nationhood. The idea of establishing an independent nation earnestly began in 1872, when the Spaniards unjustly killed the three priests, Fathers Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora, simply because they were asking for reforms. Humihingi lang sila ng pagkakapantay sa mga Spanish friars pero pinatay sila, ginarote sila. So what are the organizing principles? Idea of nationhood, being Filipino, and art as affirmation of nationhood. Mga ibang pangalan, nationalist, Filipinist, makabayan, makabansa. Who are the people here? Nationalists from all economic and social classes, but mainly of two orientations. Yung mga mapanghimagsik or the revolutionist, kilusang mapanghimagsik ng mga anak ng bayan, ably represented by Andres Bonifacio. While the other one, the reformists, kilusang panreforma ng mga ilustrado, magandang representative ito was of course Jose Rizal. The object of devotion, of course, the idea of nationhood, nation state, Filipino identity, and national consciousness. Kasi nga, karamihan ng Pilipino wala pang sense of nationhood. Either tribal or masyadong family-oriented or masyadong regionalistic, ganyan, no? Yung iba. The highest values are devotion to the nation, national identity and consciousness, Filipino dignity and worth. Tingnan niyo, di ba si Ninoy Aquino bumalik dito, maski alam niya maaari siyang mapatay. Kasi sabi niya, the Filipino is worth dying for. The Filipino is one who loves the nation. The Filipino struggle for freedom, identity, and dignity has a long and continuous history since the 16th century when Spanish colonization began. That's why we were the very first Asian peoples to wage and win a war in 1898 against Western colonialism in Asia. Pansamantala lang yan, pansamandali kasi meron pumasok na bagong colonizer. Pero we were able to win, no? Against the Spaniards. We were also the first republic in this part of the world. Ayan ang mga art associated with the culture of nationhood. Signing with their blood to become a member of the Katipunan, the Revolution of 1896 led by Andres Bonifacio, the cry of Pugadlawin, dating cry of Balintawak, pero nabago na. Yan, another way of depicting it by Guillermo Tolentino. Of course, Rizal is really a very proper symbol of nationhood because he was the first to conceive of a separate nation. He inspired the revolution with his writings, especially Noli and Pili. Yan. Mga symbols ng nationhood yan. National Museum kasi this is the biggest, the richest repository of Philippine materials, no? Symbols of Filipino identity. And we have to visit the National Museum, including the recent wing, the additional Museum of Natural History. Ayan. Ang ganda-ganda ng lobby using the design of the Tree of Life. No? Na madalas yung makikita sa mga Sama people or the Tausug. So, to conclude, we notice that the way of thinking of the Filipinos, whether in the core culture or in the subcultures which we call living Filipino cultures, we know that the patterns of thought here or feeling became very tangible or visible through art. And aside from those suggested in this presentation, there are many other ways of giving tangible expression to the dynamics of Filipino Caloocan or the inner being of our core culture and its subcultures. The only limit is the artist's imagination. Certainly, the traditional patterns of thought and feelings of the Filipinos, if creatively translated into artistic expressions, will affirm the arts as dynamics of the Filipino soul given objective form. Yun lamang po. Marami pong salamat sa inyong pagkikinig. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Professor Jun.
Maraming salamat din.
Grabe. Ang lalim po ng inyong presentation. You took us back to our indigenous roots, down to our current situation now in our country. And for now, Professor Jun, we will move on to our Q&A and we will go interactive. We will give the floor to our participants today and we request po na paki-turn on ng inyong screen, ng camera nyo at paki-unmute ng inyong microphone when recognized. One question only per participant. And I think you can use the raise your hand button on your Zoom account so that we can identify you. But our team has already initially identified yung nagsulat dun sa ating chat box, si Miss Kathy Balyo. Miss Kathy, are you there?
Yes, good morning po.
Ayan. Miss Kathy, go ahead.
Hi, good morning po, Sir De Leon. Thank you so much po for sharing your talk this morning. Ang dami ko po talagang natutunan, especially since I teach developing Filipino identity in the arts. And yung tanong ko po is that actually the part that you talked about equality, gender equality, the duality of opposites, that is something that is often talked about now in social media and is very relevant actually to my students. Paborito nilang topic to when we're making art. I wanted to ask you, sir, how would you suggest that we can continue this conversation in the online classroom in a manner that is very interesting and relatable to our younger audience or our younger students?
Well, there are so many ways. You can begin with something that is very familiar today, kagaya ng pagkain. Look at manggang hilaw at bagoong. You don't have enough energy if you eat only one. Imagine pag panay manggang hilaw lang, gaano katagal kayo makakakain ng manggang hilaw lang. Walang energy yun eh. Kung bagoong lang, lalong hindi kayo makakatagal na panay bagoong lang. Pero pag pinagsama niyo yung dalawa, there's so much energy. That's actually life energy. Coming from the opposites of what? Yung asim at saka yung alat. Yan talaga ang source ng kahit anong klaseng energy. From food, to gender relations, to electricity, to magnetism, lahat na ng bagay ay nanggagaling dyan. Ang importanteng discussion sa class, if they can give examples from, well, reading, for example, reading. How can you read on a paper that is pure white, where even the letters are white? You can only read the letters because the letters are in black. Kaya nagko-connect sa, nag-define ng white. White makes black possible and black makes white possible. You cannot separate opposites from one another. Importante yan, no? Look, lalo na pagkadating sa mga pagkain, no? Kaya sumasarap ang balot, lalagyan niyo ng konting asin, no? Kaya sumasarap ang puto, yung lalo rin kutsinta, lalagyan niyo ng nyog. This contrast heightens the quality of everything. In fact, maraming yung sinatawag natin spices. Actually, lason yun eh. Lason talaga yun eh. Pero pagkokonti lang, nagiging pampalasa ng pagkain. Kasi halimbawa, asin, ang sarap ng, sabi ko, yung balot, sarap kumain pag may konting asin. Pero kayo ba kakain ng panay asin lang? Naku, magkakasakit kayo. Yung anghang, kayo ba kakain ng isang mangkok na panay sili? Hindi. But when you combine this with others, you heighten the quality. Ganyan din ang ang pinaka-importante sigurong madala nyo ang mga estudyante sa larangan ng yung disiplina, no? Kasi you cannot separate discipline from freedom. Tayo lang sa buong mundo ang mga nilalang na mayroong capacity for choice. Walang capacity for choice ang aso. Walang capacity for choice ang hayop. O, lalo na halaman. Because they are programmed. Merong software sa kanila called instinct that programs them to act according to their needs. Tayo, we are not programmed in a higher level. Sa animal level natin, we are programmed, no? But in a higher level, we are completely free. We're completely free to choose. But because we are free to choose, lahat ng choice natin may consequences. That because of our choice, yung consequences na yun, tayo ang responsible doon. We cannot say that we are not responsible for our choices kasi tayo ang pumili. Marami mga tao, akala nila, yung mga consequences, matatakasan nila. No. You cannot separate discipline from freedom. No? Or responsibility. Pag meron kang ginawang choice, maski sinabi mo sa nanay mo na, Ma'am, nanay, kayo na po ang bahalang mag-decide anong maganda kong course na kunin. Kasi hindi ko makapag-decide eh. Ngayon, pag hindi nyo nagustuhan yung course at nagwala kayo, hindi kasalanan ng nanay nyo because you delegated your choice to the mother and responsibility pa rin ninyo yun. In other words, you cannot separate responsibility from freedom. Yan yung makikita, no? Lalo na yung, ito, isa pa. Maganda ang katangian ng Pilipino na, interdependent tayo. We have emotional bonding with our parents, our sisters, brothers, and friends. Kaya maganda interdependence. Nagtutulungan tayo sa bahay. Yung lola, tumutulong sa pag-alaga sa bata, sa baby, and so on. Pero pag sumobra pag sumobra naman dependence nyo, nagiging pag sumobra yung pag-rely nyo sa kapwa, sa lola, naasahan nyo sa lola. O kaya yung tingnan nyo, merong mga anak na may trabaho na may anak na nakapisan pa sa magulang, maski hirap na hirap yung magulang, o umaasa pa na bibigyan sila ng pera, allowance ng magulang. Yan hindi na interdependence, yan na independence na. On the other hand, mga Amerikano naman, masyado nilang ina-emphasize ang independence. Wala silang emotional bonding pag maliit pa kasi nakahiwalay na kaagad ng kama, no? Kahiwalay ng kwarto. Pag lumalaki, baby pa lang, hinihiwalay na. So they develop so much independence. Okay naman independence because you can be, walang problema ang self-reliance. But too much independence creates what? Lack of sensitivity. Walang pakiramdam. That's why pinakamataas na number ng serial killing ay nasa US kasi wala silang nade-develop na pakiramdam sa kapwa. So this is what I'm trying to say. No culture is strong or weak. No? Ang strength ng isang kultura ay kung nasa sa tamang paggamit ng qualities ng kultura yon. Pag kayo ay nagpunta sa extreme, no? That begins the weakness. That you will get now the weakness of the culture. Marami nagtatanong sa akin, ano ba ang mga weaknesses ng Philippine culture? Ay naku, nakakatawang tanong. There are no weaknesses. Kasi culture is a program. Para bang ang ganito ang culture, ganito parang software like alam niyo na yung PowerPoint, software yan. Word, software yan. And mga Photoshop. All of these are softwares. Tatanong ba nyo sa akin, ano ba ang weakness ng PowerPoint? Ano ba ang weakness ng Word? Ano ba ang weakness ng Photoshop? That's a senseless question kasi don't expect PowerPoint to do something that is beyond its capacity. Ganyan din ang kultura. No? Ang kultura, hindi nyo masasabing may weakness. Ang mangyayari, yung strength, pag masyado yung pag sumobra ang gamit nyo, nawala na kayo ng balance, that it becomes a weakness. Yun ang ibig sabihin. In other words, the strength of a culture, it's also its weakness. And hindi nyo masasabi na mayroong weaknesses ang culture sapagkat lahat naman na makikita sa culture, maganda. Ang nagiging weakness ay yung sumobra kayo sa isang side or the other. And this is one important aspect of balance. Sabi nga ni Balagtas, pag lumaki kayo sa layaw, nasanay kayo sa pleasure, naku, konting problema parang hindi rin nyo kayang harapin. Kasi nga, sumobra ang comfort. At ito masasabi ko sa mga kabataan ngayon. Buong araw nakaupo sila, nasa internet, o kaya nag-cellphone. Walang exercise. Sumobra ang comfort. Hihina na ang kukote nyo kasi panay sa halip na gumawa ng paper na original, kuha lang ko sa internet ng mga materials, hindi na nag-iisip. Parang araw, hindi na marunong mag-isip. Naging biktima na ng technology. Masyadong sumobra ang side natin towards comfort na wala nang struggle na mga dating mga ninuno natin na bago makakakuha ng tubig, mag-iigib pa. Pag nag-igib kayo, sabay na ang exercise at saka tubig. Eh ngayon, ang dali-daling kumuha ng tubig. Wala kayong exercise. Buong araw, sedentary kayo. So, yun ang nangyari. We directed our lives to most extremely, abusively towards the idea of comfort and convenience na wala na yung pagsisikap. Kaya lumalaki sa layaw. Halos lahat ng kabataan ngayon, lahat tayo, lumalaki sa layaw ng technology. Kaya ngayon, bata pa, may diabetes na, bata pa, ang tanda-tanda na na itsura, ang mahihina na ng katawan. Again, this is an extremism caused by technological culture coming from the West. We have to guard against it. Don't sit down more than 30 minutes at a time. Tayo kayo. In other words, we were designed to move, to climb trees, to run, swim. Yan ang design ng katawan natin. That's why we have so many joints, no? Hindi tayo designed to sit. Kaya nag-umpisa mga sakit, mula nang umupo ang mga taong katakot-takot, naging sedentary ang buhay natin. So this is balance. Mabuti pa yung mga katutubo, kuha ng prutas, akit ng puno, trabaho sa bukid. Huwag niyo matahi ang mga magsasaka. Marami silang exercise. Ngayon, sumusobra naman kung isang kakulangan ng technology. So this is my answer, no? Don't go overboard to one side or the other kasi kawawa kayo. Tama-tama si Balagtas. Balagtas is a very good advice. Don't go too much to the side of what? Layaw. Disiplinahin nyo. Yun ang sagot ko. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much
Thank
you for the question, Kathy.
Thank you, Ron.
All right. The next question po, Professor June, would be coming from Gabriel Perez.
Okay.
Gabriel?
Good morning, sir. Rinig po ba ako? Rinig?
Yes.
Good morning, Sir De Leon. Una po sa lahat, maraming salamat po sa maganda niyo pong talk. Okay. Alam po natin na kakaunti po ang kumukuha ng degree in college sa music and arts and even other degrees connected to culture. Ang tanong ko po ay, ang kultura ng pag-aaliw ba ay isang refleksyon kung bakit kakaunti ang kumukuha ng degree sa arts and culture dahil ang arts ay nakakulong sa pag-aaliw kaysa isang profesyon na tatahakin ng isang tao?
Kasi yung mga pop music mo yung bang kasi nga yung mass entertainment yan hindi participatory yan. maski naman classical music hindi rin participatory. Kaya hindi ko na sasabihin sa inyo kung sino, no? Naaawa nga ako sa kanya, isang dating secretary ng isang department, or dalawang department pa nga. Tinanong sa akin, bakit hindi siya nag-enjoy na makinig ng kulintang? Hindi daw siya nag-enjoy makinig ng kulintang. Paano? Ang kulintang naman, hindi naman just for listening. Kung tutingin kayo sa internet, ang daming halimbawa ng kulintang dyan, na yun ay isang paraan ng pagpapalakas ng katawan, is a form of healing, isang a very good way of social interaction, at kaya sila nag-enjoy sapagkat tinutugtog nila mismo. Walang hindi marunong ng kulintang. Mga paglalaki kayo, among ni Maguindanao, halos lahat yan marunong ng kulintang. Nados, ang kulintang ay hindi lang para pakinggan. Kayo dapat tumutugtog nun, sinasayaw nyo. And there is so much social interaction. Ang daming values ng music pag nandiyan kayo sa mga katatubong kultura. Pero ang nangyayari sa pop, no? Ang nangyayari sa classical music, nakaupo na lang kayo. Nakikinig na lang kayo. Hindi Pilipino yan. Alam niyo, ang kultura natin is highly participatory. Ayon ng Pilipino na nanonood lang, na wala siyang participation. Kaya ang Pilipino, maski na mayroong performer dyan, gusto makisali, nagmimiron, usisero, nakikialam. Ganyan talaga Pilipino, normal sa ating kultura yan. Participatory tayo. Kaya nakita ko sa Facebook ng isang araw, bakit daw hindi masyadong popular ang museum sa atin. Paano nga? Alam niyo, ang sight, the sense of sight, yung visual, yan ang pinaka-distancing sa lahat ng senses. Pinaka-naglalayo sa kapwa, pinaka-naglalayo sa mga bagay-bagay, Ang pinaka-connective na senses ay touch saka smell. Kapag hindi niyo maaamoy hanggat hindi kayo lumalapit, unless na sobrang namang sangsang ng amoy ng tao. Pero maaamoy niyo lang ang tao pag malapit kayo, maglalo pag merong touch, nag-akap kayo, lalong malapit yan. Kasi mga lola sa Pilipinas, yung minamahal na apo, hindi lang yan hahalikan, inaamoy pa yung apo. Kasi nga, yan ang pinaka-connective na senses. However, bago nyo makita ang mukha ng isang tao, kaya lumayo kayo ng konti para maging malinaw, kundi magiging blurred, no? So, the sense of sight is a distancing sight. Isang dahilan yan, kaya ang mga Pilipino ay hindi masyadong mahilig magpunta sa museum unless utusan ng teacher, parang assignment. Kasi nga, we like everything interactive. Dapat tasali tayo sa ginagawa, sa nangyayari. Yan ang isang advice ko sa mga, kung gusto niyo magturo ng music, wag niyo nang tiruan ng theory muna. Pagawin ninyo, naawa ako minsan pinag-lecture ako ng NAMSIA sa mga teachers. Pinaliwanag ko yung tinatawag na yung paggawa ng original motif, tapos kanyang yung inversion, retrograde, yung pag-develop ng isang motif. Sabi sa akin yung mga teachers, sir, alam mo namin yan, memorize namin yung definition yan, pero hindi pa kami nakakarinig ng halimbawa ng mga yan. Pinarinig ko sa kanila kung yung mga examples ng mga inversion ng retrograde, first time nilang nakarinig. How can they teach music kung panay theory? Kalimutan mo na niyo ang theory, practice muna. Yan ang advice ko sa mga nagtuturo ng music. Involve the people. Oo.
Great.
Diba?
So involvement first talaga, Professor Jun, ano?
Practice. At saka, huwag kayong malulungkot dahil hanap ng examples na para magamit sa klase. Mga examples na makukuha nyo sa Manila, madalas yan ay Western, art for art's sake, mga symphonic, mga ballet, mga pop na listener lang kayo. Audience lang kayo. Hindi pwede sa Pilipino ang audience lang. So, do research. Sa paligid-ligid, nandyan lahat ng pang-araw-araw na musika na ginagamit ng mga, look at your folk culture. Sa Bisaya, sa Dumaguete, nandyan yung balitaw. Sa Cebu, nandyan yung balitaw. Sa Samar, nandyan yung smiling. Buhay pan lahat yan. No? Sa Marinduque, nandyan yung kalutang. In other words, if you just look around, you will find music and dance all around you and poetry. Yan ang gamitin nyo. Kalimutan nyo muna yung Western art sapagkat ma-alienate lalo ang mga tao. Hindi sa atin yan. Of course, later na lang ipasok nyo yung Western art. Maganda naman yun. Matutuwa malawak yung magkaroon kayo ng world art and ideas. Pero huwag niyo unahin yung West. Unahin niyo yung nandiyan sa kapaligiran niya. Nandiyan kayo. We are so rich in art. I think I have shown you a lot of examples sa visual arts, sa dance. Pero ang music, kasi hindi ako naglagay ng music. Kasi nga, hahaba. I was only given an hour. Pag nilagay ko pa yung music, abot tayo ng 2 oras.
Yeah. Pero ang dami po talaga, sobrang dami po ng pinakita niyong examples or ehemplo ng mga iba't ibang community-made na artistry, no, in our folk culture. And tama po kayo, we have to start involving everybody. But I think the question primarily now, siguro Professor June, just to tie it up, no, with what you mentioned, is that the difficulty during this pandemic that we are in. If we want to be involved, or we want our students to be involved in this learning process of getting, being practical or doing practical things on our learning, paano po namin pwede yung gawin sa sitwasyon natin ngayon?
Ang dami yan eh. Mga sa bahay, kumuha kayo ng mga iba-ibang baso, lagyan nyo iba-ibang dami ng tubig, makakagawa na kayo ng scale. Saka isa pa, yung we can begin importante rin naman ng theory, pero yung theory kailangan talagang hindi hiwalay ng practice. Halimbawa, merong nagtanong sa akin yung kapatid ko kung sino yung tagtugin yung sakuting isang dance, ano? Sabi niya, bakit daw tunog Chinese yung first part ng sakuting? Sabi ko, kasi ginawa niyang balse, no? Ginawa yata ang polka, ginawang polka, tapos later ginawang balse. Pag ginawa niyong dance form, ang music ng Tingyan from Abra, magtutunog Chinese yun. Sapagkat ang scale natin, marami tayong scales na katulad ng Chinese scale, pero iba ang gamit. Ganito talaga ang original ng, alam niyo, pinagkunan ng music ng sakuting.